All right. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? Good, good, good. There's about an equal ratio to guys and girls here, I'd say. There's like 2 girls here. That's it. Wow. How do you fit in with all these the people? How's it work? You get used to it? Yeah. So, okay, cool. I just kind of wanted to poll the audience because, you know, we make films over in Hollywood and in Los Angeles, and there's differences, and I've spoken to, you know, different film industries. I was invited to speak over in Turkey and Dubai, and everybody has their own kind of film industry, and it's so great to see this film industry here and kind of the opportunities that are available and the differences. You know, for a long time, I think that Bollywood films, to the extent of my knowledge, were very stylized. Would you agree? Meaning, you know, they're stylized, the dance numbers, they're big, they had a certain style to them. And in the recent years, maybe there's been a globalization trend. You know, and it happens. It happens a lot of times with different movies. The movie from India that a lot of people think about is Slumdog Millionaire, at least in the States, because that broke through. And that was the first to make over $100 million, and, you know, and it was so, because it was a global story, right? It wasn't something just applied regionally, you know. Let me give you a different example from a completely different region. A movie called Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Anybody see that film, you know? And that was, so up to that point, the films in China had been so stylized, you know, and they had been, I grew up with those movies, you know, watching the old martial arts films, and they'd been so stylized, and the first time they kind of made one that appealed to a global audience, had global themes, right? And so that's something that we've been discussing and talking about when we come here and we talk about the Bollywood film industry, is that, would you agree? Would you agree that there's kind of a trend to make more globalization of the films, right? So you want to appeal to a bigger audience, right? So that at the end of the day, a story is a story. You know, you look at stories throughout history, there's always certain commonalities. There's love, and there's this and that, and, you know, and there's action, and there's adventure, and whatever's the theme of the story, it doesn't matter if it's a unique world. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, a unique setting. None of that matters. It matters if it can apply to everyone. Does that make sense? Cool. So good. I'm honored to be here, and when did we get here? 3 days ago. And honored to be here and speak to you guys. And I can't wait for the Q&A because I want to hear exactly where you're coming from. But I searched kind of long and hard on my way here to, and I don't mean the drive. I mean the way here, meaning Los Angeles coming to India, not the 15-minute drive that we had. By the way, it is so fun driving on these roads. It's just exciting. If anybody complains to me ever about the traffic in LA, I'm going to be like, yeah, okay. Spend one day in Mumbai, and it's a lot different. I want to drive one of those things, though. I don't want to just be a passenger. I started as an actor, and I did a film called Gravesend that we shot on the streets of Brooklyn, New York. Not the safest place in the world, and but we were crazy, you know. We were a bunch of 4 guys and the 4 actors, and we'd pull up to a street corner. There'd be a gang of tough guys there, and we'd be like, "You guys want to shoot a fight scene?" And they were like, "Okay," you know. And then a big fight would break out, you know, like because they weren't actors, you know what I mean? They just didn't. There's somebody swinging at them, they'd punch you right back. And when we finished the film, we got Oliver Stone to produce it. You know Oliver Stone, right? And it was in theaters. And I was the second biggest role, and I thought, wow, I'm going to be this huge movie star in America. And, you know, the key is, it doesn't always work the way you plan. You know, you have a plan, it's good to have a plan. And we'll talk about that too. But it doesn't always work. Things don't always go according to plan, because there's lessons you got to learn and things, obstacles you got to face, all that stuff. So when that didn't kind of click and make me famous in America, I said I have to learn every other aspect of the business. Writing, editing, producing, directing. I wanted to learn it all, and I have, and I've done all of it to a certain extent, and then I found what I really like to do, and you know, now it's the acting, the writing, the producing that I like to do the most, and in fact, in those 3 things, and they call it a triple hyphenate. Nowadays, that's huge popular in Los Angeles. You call somebody a triple hyphenate, you know, whatever they are. I'm an actor, director, writer. You know, writer-director is that's a double hyphenate. That's a huge thing. You know, there's a lot of those everywhere. But I felt like I was kind of one of the trendsetters as far as a triple hyphenate goes. One of the first people to do that. But the key is that I can tell you any aspect. You know, I can have a conversation with an editor. You know what I mean? I can talk about when it was, you know, the moviolas and the Steenbecks, and you actually were cutting, you know, and then now you're doing, you know, your Avid or your Final Cut Pro. I don't know what they have Final Cut Pro here, yeah. And so here's the thing. There's so much history in film. No matter what country, you're talking about. There's a history of film. And the exciting part about it is that if you learn aspects of it, you know, we were talking to the director here before, and you know, Brian had asked him a fantastic question when he said, this is a digital, okay, I mean, digital's in the title of the school, and why are you shooting on film? You know what he was saying? Because it's good to kind of learn that aspect of it, almost like you know more. You know, the guys that know how to take apart a car, they're almost like better drivers, right? You know what I mean? Because they know how to put the car together. Does that make sense? Right? Because they know it from the ground up. You know, and that's why I feel like I have a good foundation in film, because I know it from the ground up. And you should too. And there's these places like this where you're doing stuff that, you know, maybe they don't give them. One day we talked about it. We talked about it in the office. One day they're not going to use film. Or a very small piece of the population is going to use it because they want to stylize it, you know? Because I brought up that it'll always be light reflected versus light projected, obviously. You know what I mean? And no matter how beautiful the digital gets, there will always be people that want to do. I mean, there's still people that shoot photographs on film. You know what I mean? Because they like the style of it. So saying all this and just kind of telling you my foundation, I'm thinking, so what can I tell you about the film business and as far as being successful in the film business? Because I can't tell you exact steps, you know, call Bob down the street. I can't tell you that, you know what I mean? Like, dial this number and you'll be working. There are core concepts that I believe are very important to succeed in this business or in any of the regions in the world, right? So, and I'd love to, you know, if everybody can see me at the board, I'm going to write some of these down when we talk about them. But, you know, yesterday, or gosh, I'm losing track of my days. A couple days ago, I was speaking in front of another crowd, and I did the same thing. I dropped the pens on the floor. No, thanks. Sorry. I was told that the sarcasm here doesn't always play. Yeah, I just gotta, you're going to understand that I'm from New Jersey, which is a state in America, and you're always sarcastic. That's just the way you are.